we can actually get.
I've got the power now.
Yeah. So there's also settings in there for transcripts that can be translated. So we can get things that we're talking about then, and I gotta mess with it some more. But like our conversations we're having with Nahum and stuff, if he can't think of English words or whatnot, it should subtitle translate it for us.
No shit. Well, that's pretty cool. Just automatically?
Yeah, and then like say Nahum brings a guest in and he has to be a translator for him, we can set up the recording to where Nahum's assigned as the translator for his guest. And so they'll show up simultaneously.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all right, just real quick for anybody watching this, we just literally we're on experiment mode right now. It's Kowalski and I. He gave me co-host capabilities, and I just started recording because why not? And now we're learning about this platform, Zoom, right? That we could just have conversations, get together, impromptu smoke sessions. And since we're talking about this, a lot of people are looking to get their word out, right? What it is that's on their mind. Some of this information might be useful to you, or it might be useful or helpful to see us fumble fuck around with it. Not know what we're doing, just like learn from our mistakes. But it really is easy. There's no reason why anybody can't have a podcast, a YouTube channel, or whatever. And especially from the veteran community or the cannabis community, I really do feel like the more voices we have out there sharing their experiences and talking with their friends and family about what their experiences have been, all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? The more we'll be able to understand what's going on from neighborhood to neighborhood across the country, because it's all confused right now. The messaging and what's working, who has access, who doesn't, who's losing medical care, who's going broke trying to pay for their medicine out of pocket, who's getting this for free. So this is just another one of those gotcha, I hit the record button, and since it's on, like, we're gonna use this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's dope though, dude. Oh, a participant has enabled closed captioning. That's dope. These transcripts are going to be cool. They can get turned into blogs.
Yes.
With some light editing.
Will you speak Spanish and see if it translates for me, please?
Hola, me llamo Ricardo Pereira. ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Don't Taco Bell. Oh, that was great.
Yo soy marihuano. Yeah.
Marijuana.
Yo soy marihuano.
So I'm sorry, mighty one.
Yeah. I wonder. That's going to be cool to see how many different languages we can get translated through this thing. It might put us on some type of watch list, though.
Just add it to the long list of other watch lists. Probably on by now.
Yo, legit. If you're not on a federal watch list right now, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. That's a meme somewhere, and it's true. I saw it, and it hit my heart. So yeah, that's a fact. If you're not being scrutinized for your speech or your actions right now because of the fucked up shit that's going on and what's required to address it, are you even living?
Right.
Are you even aware of what the fuck is going on? Like, I think that might be even scarier. People rolling around here not having a clue what's popping off. Just like, ah, fucking going to work, coming back home, watching some TV, going back to work, coming back home.
Oh, another thing I learned we could do on it is we can set up our own audio files that are assigned to each individual person.
What do you mean?
I think I, I think from my understanding of it, if we record it and I set up the setting, it would record the audio files and assign the audio files to each of us. So it would only pull out what we were saying.
It's got voice recognition.
I don't think it's so much voice recognition as it is like this active speaker thing that they do.
If that's all it is, an active speaker, how are they going to know to differentiate between who is the speaker?
Well, right now I just turned green.
IP
I took
address?
over.
Like just where your computer is?
Probably. Or a noise, just a noise that they could hear triggers it,
Homie,
like
that's
we
what I'm
do
talking
in
about. I mean, the voice, that's, I don't know, man, that's trippy. I wonder if they're using AI
yeah.
for that.
If they aren't yet, I'm sure they're going to.
They're probably working on it as we speak, as we ask that question.
I just come across an AI generator thing to download on my phone, and for $36.99 a month or something. Oh yeah, but it's at
No.
$36.99. It uses Chat GPT, and they can generate. It generates pictures and everything for you. And it's like now it starts.
I haven't used it since I got turned onto it, since you turned me onto it. And we used it together at one time. And then I asked it a bunch of stuff about prohibition
Mm-hmm.
and then how it would end cannabis prohibition, this and that, blah blah blah. Right? I haven't used it. I'm not sure why. Right? I already gave it access to my shit, essentially, by going
Right.
through and clicking all that stuff and actually using it. It's just, I don't know. It was a fun, like, magic trick, but knowing what I know about the writing process, for me, like, I'm not going to use that to write a report because I know how much could get fucked up, and I know how long it takes to go back through and proofread for like clerical errors or misstatements of fact or other things, right?
Right.
And using that to generate an entire report before I even see it, or just based off some prompts or cues, and then having to go back through and reread. It's like I could have just wrote the motherfucker myself, known what was in it from get go, and then gone about my day. Uh, that doesn't mean that I don't see, as far as like for rapid fire responses, bro. I could see that being used in press releases. Put some information to Chat GPT, describe the scenario, and ask it to produce a press release for you. That could be dope.
That could be.
Um, use it to write in a particular format. So let's say we're writing to Congress. We're writing to a law firm. we're writing to the United Nations. Okay? Ask it to put it in whatever official or format so that it looks legit, along with our content, making it legit. I can see that. So that it just has a series of things where you plug in the information and it pops it out the way it needs to look through formatting and stuff.
That would be good use.
Build proposals. Put in information and have it generate a document as if it were a bill proposal for legislation. Because you know how they do all the sub paragraphs and this and blah, 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 right?
Right.
The image generator is cool. I like what Nahum's been able to do with his stuff. Like it's, some of it's trippy because it looks so real.
Right.
Especially like the pictures that are generated of people that don't exist. It's like, okay.
It starts getting real trippy when you start finding out how many movies and such are using AI technology for various things, whether it is character development or scene development.
This is something I want to ask fucking Nahum about and then get your thought on it and maybe talk about it like some vets or whatever. But how about AI being used as a fucking sentinel, armed with a fucking whatever and a lens that differentiates facial figures and features into known profiles, watch lists or whatever? Or do you understand where I'm getting at? Yeah?
I think those are already being used.
I do too. I think I've heard a couple reports and it's pretty fucking sketchy.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think you should be able to give up autonomy, human autonomy in those situations. Like you need, like, I'm not going to be able to hold a bot accountable. The only thing I could do is to destroy it.
Yep.
And then maybe find the manufacturers and fucking give a good scolding to whoever thought that was a good idea. You know what I mean? Like you need Private Snuffy to bring in front of the court martial and say, listen, Snuffy, what the fuck? You fired on a whole crew of people that were protesting, sure, but there was no cause for lethal force. What did you do? Why did you do that? Listen, Snuffy, you have to go in Leavenworth now for a period of time because you fucked up. What do you get when it's a bot? Oops.
Well, essentially, the whole goal of the military-industrial complex, is to make us as close to bots as possible.
Look
to
at
carry
all the
orders without question.
Ceasefire. We've gone too far. Like our desire to fuck the other person up has truly reached a dangerous level.
Yes.
Too much. You're taking feeling out, and then when you tie in what Maps is trying to do, cheer people, and then how the military wants to use that to keep warfighters on the battle. You're supposed to feel bad when you fuck up. You're supposed to feel some kind of way when you participate in unjust wars. You're supposed to feel something when you end another human being's life or when you severely maim them, injure them, cause them to be disabled. You need to feel, you did that. You did that. You did that to somebody else. That somebody else could have been you, may very well be you in some other situation or circumstance. You gotta have empathy at some point. If you can't see yourself in that other person's shoes, if that isn't a human being anymore, wow, dude, if that's just some image on his, fuck it, take it out. I don't give a fuck, dude. Let's go to fucking chow hall. I'm hungry. And then what's worse, if you get a bot that's making those decisions and everybody else is just running on and fucking business as usual? No, 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 no. You put war on autopilot, bitch?
It puts the use of force model on a one-way street.
Yeah, the one with the AI bots pointed fucking right at you with a weapon. That's the only authority that matters in that scenario, motherfucker. What are you gonna do about it? You gotta survive the encounter first, bitch. What is that? Is that a fucking robot dog with a fucking 50 cal on its back? With glowing eyes looking at me? Making fucking chirping noises like I just fucking walked on its grave? Well, I guess that was my grave, wasn't it? Fuck me. Wow. I don't know what that is, and I have no idea why it's here, but it doesn't like me. And apparently I'm a fucking target for it. Wow. Who put that there and why?
Right.
And would they want one facing their direction in their neighborhood? No, they don't. They don't want that. Why? There's no fucking reasonable individual wants some automated bot that's heavily fucking armed with glowing eyes ticking at you, fucking looking at their shit in their neighborhood where they rest their head.
Not with all the hacking and everything else we got going on these days.
Yo, if I'm an insurgent or whatever the fuck, insurgent, if I'm somebody that's looking to do something nefarious or fuckery, you know what I mean? I'm gonna hack into that bitch and I'm just gonna fucking everybody, and then I'm gonna fucking make it look like I was never there, and then make cunts fucking figure out how to explain what the fuck they just did. And again, they just did that. It doesn't matter if somebody hacked into it. So using their rationale from our fucking legal system in the United States, if I go with you to commit a robbery and I bring a fucking gun, you were under the impression we were gonna just go and rob this motherfucking place. Maybe you didn't know how. Maybe that's all you knew. Maybe you didn't fucking care to ask any questions. Good enough for you. Let's go get some money or some chips, right? I go in there, I got another fucking plan in mind because I've had it up to here, right? And so I'm on a different kind of mission. Yeah, you want to rob the place? You can take whatever you want. I'm over here, I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. That's what the fuck I'm on. Just fuck this shit. And so we go into that place together to commit a felony. I go in there to commit a different one, and I do it. You're at the chip rack now looking at me like, what the fuck did you just do? What in the actual fuck did you just do? We go out of there together because we come in together. We're both being charged with fucking murder, bro.
Yeah.
We're both being charged with murder. It doesn't matter that I just went in there for chips, some giggles, and a little bit of fucking adolescent fun, right? Somebody else went in there with some serious intent to do harm. And harm came about as a result of that boneheaded plan that we had put together, right? Jointly. And so now you got this bot that's totally hackable, that's armed to the fucking teeth, and that can do a lot of fucking damage. It doesn't matter if you say somebody hacked into our system and it wasn't supposed to be that way. The reality of the situation was, had it not been for you placing that automated machine up there with these risk factors that you should have fucking known about, that situation hadn't happened. So fuck you and your excuses. Get your ass in front of the fucking judge to face the fucking music, bitch.
Now all of a sudden, possession being 9/10 of the law is utilized the opposite way as a bad thing.
Well, you see what happens now with Trump. Let's use that as a perfect example. The incitement of violence, free speech, the kind of shit that you learn about in college and school and stuff when you go on to start studying public management and policy, like I did at the University of Arizona, right? They give you different scenarios. You got to take an ethics course, you got to take a philosophy course, you got to take fucking a government course and all this other shit, right? They teach you about the parameters of free speech. They teach you about the different things that aren't covered under the First Amendment. You can't just go into a crowded movie theater and yell, fire! Even if you come back after the situation, whatever occurs, and say, no, I was just trying to promote my new band, fire. Listen, asshole, okay, that's cute. You go think about that dumbass move that you did, right, for the next 5 years in the penitentiary. Because unfortunately, for your fucking album release, right, there are a number of people who are dead now due to fucking a stampede that occurred when motherfuckers were trying to rush out of the door because they thought the fucking building they were in on fire. So now you have this jackass who was president who was going around the country talking about a stolen election, fucking getting everybody to fucking try to get votes for him or fucking do this or that or blah, 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 in front of everybody. Saying things that are demonstrably false, not true. And he's not the only one in government doing that. But right now we're talking about that jackass and what the fuck he did. And so now he's coming around talking about free speech, how he still to this day feels that he won that election that was proven to him that he didn't. In any number of ways that have been validated, fact-checked, and fucking scrutinized to make sure that the process was correct. Still taking that to the bank. Still has people in the fucking Republican Party backing him up over it. Calling this a political hack job back and forth, which it may be. But that doesn't mean now that just because your fucking guy is being looked at or looked into, his behavior, his actions, that the whole fucking system's wrong. We have millions of people who are sitting behind bars in the United States, a lot of them for bullshit, nonviolent crimes, who if they were to get a fraction of the fucking judicial process that Trump and his people have received, we don't have 2 million people locked up. Obviously, we got a couple 100,000 people, maybe at most. This motherfucker's going around talking about how the fucking, the judicial system, everything's broken or whatever. What? It was perfect when the FBI was hunting down the Black Panthers? Was it perfect when J. Edgar Hoover was fucking setting up Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Medgar Evers and other fucking civil rights leaders, Cesar Chavez and others? Was it okay, this COINTELPRO shit? Was it okay, MK Ultra, and what they were doing in our penitentiaries, what they were doing to vulnerable populations in mental health facilities and shit, asylums, people who could not fight back, who they were fucking torturing, trying to figure out about LSD and all this other shit now, and then afterwards burn their records, and then today come and give us this bullshit narrative about how they're doing their due diligence and looking into these substances for their therapeutic benefits, when 50, 60 years ago through the CIA and other motherfuckers, they were looking into these things for war fighting capabilities. And then because what they found started to scare them, they fucking placed them in Schedule 1. I agree with Trump. Our system's fucked. But it's not fucked because it's coming after him. Somebody who's clearly corrupt, somebody who flaunts his ability to do what he wants in everybody's faces, who has been able to do that for his entire life. Fuck that motherfucker. And fuck Joe Biden too. And his druggy son, his fucking addict son, his son who has a substance abuse problem, probably multiple, his son who uses the government to sell artwork for millions of dollars, to get connections in other places and do fucking shady business deals and stuff like that all across the world. While his dad, a senator, vice president, and now president, puts the screws to regular people all across the country. And that way, all across the world, through the DEA and other things that we're doing through drug interdiction and other things going around fucking up other people's homes. But his son, in his own home, his fucking druggy son, going out having illegitimate babies with strippers and shit like that. That's a fucking model for the perfect American family? Then fuck you. There's a lot of things that are going on right here. A lot of things. And if Trump's the one that fucking breaks the back of this bullshit, so be it, dude. But from what you and I know, and I'm going to shut up because, again, I'm caffeinated and I got weed going through me. Holy shit, this is being recorded. But the fact of the matter is, man, we have a situation where really awful things have been covered up and not paid attention to and allowed to persist. And it has caused very real harm to our social fabric, our culture, and our people, and fucking generations coming up behind us who can't trust anything that we say. They can't trust if we're telling them the truth about drugs, if we're telling them the truth about war, if we're telling them the truth about our healthcare, if we're telling them the truth about the value of our education and college and what that means. Our younger generations rightfully can't trust anything that's coming from people who are older than them. That's scary, dude.
That's very scary.
I hear MDMA can fix it though.
That's what Tim Ryan's saying.
Motherfucking bathtub. What you need is a bathtub full of puppies. Oh shit.
Crazy times we live in these days.
There's also a lot of amazing things going on though, dude. Self-actualization and realization. I think COVID really busted that nut. I think COVID forced everybody to realize how they were living, what they were sacrificing, and how short and uncertain their time was here on this earth.
I think in a lot of ways you're right. Because that's when we see a lot of, at first there was a lot of trying to reintegrate with everybody because things were finally starting to open up again and people could start interacting with other people again. And I think that created a lot of different situations on both sides of the spectrum, good and bad. And then from that, I think what we're seeing now is a growing process in innovation. Innovation seems to have kicked up again recently, and conversations, the way the conversations seem to be going with various individuals in different sectors, have all kind of changed and started coming more internally, I guess you could say, in a lot of ways. People are starting to look closer to what's on their street, what's inside their town.
Yeah, a lot of conversation about sustainability
Yeah.
It's been a big one that I've heard all around sustainability.
And finally, climate control. I mean, that's finally hitting mainstream now to where I'm actually actively seeing ads that are more tailored to the trigger words and rather just ads that are all cute and warm and fuzzy ones. The most recent one I think was a mother and her daughter or something, or a mother and her friend texting each other back and forth and asking about if they're tired of all the rain or something, or all the smoke in the air. I think it was for all the wildfire smoke in the air. And they were like, yeah, and it was then turned into this whole transition. All the scientists are saying it's only going to get worse, and we need to actually do something about it.
When you said that, my mind immediately went to that scene from fucking Terminator, it's Judgment Day or whatever. You know what scene I'm talking about? Where she grips the
Yeah.
fence and she's just fucking screaming at that merry-go-round. And then I was fucking, it's just fucking ashes. Like you just see her body just melt right there by the fence. What are you gonna do? These are things. So it feels to me as one of billions. My perspective here is what I'm seeing. Uh, much like the cannabis issue, psychedelic issue, where these things are just what they are. And we're the ones making the fuss about the explanations and defining and the access to it, of it, around it.
Okay.
I mean,
Yep.
that just is what it is, regardless of what the fuck we are, right? Now, with respect to cannabis, we've helped it along. The growing prohibition's been a boon to cannabis, the plant. It's come out beefier. It's come out more places around the world.
Yep.
The seeds have been shared, and all kinds of shit have been shared all around the globe. The genetics are off the hook. The cultivars are insane compared to what they used to be. Your terpene profiles, the way that you can isolate various things for various purposes and needs, it's just like, right?
Right.
Talking to Mr. Philpott will get you going like, holy shit, we're in the future. Microscopes, being able to go all the way into it like he was, all that
Yeah.
stuff. It's like, wow, wow. Totally a different world. But then you get to climate change. And then you get to the running out of natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into mass extinctions of your fucking wildlife and people, just life,
Just ecosystems in general
ecosystems,
collapsing.
yeah, all of it, right? You get changing of your
Yeah.
Arctic currents and your Atlantic currents, and you get more fresh water, less salt water, and you get more fucking just all kinds of stuff. This is Mother recorrecting the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we could do and say whatever we want. We could feel however we want about it. It's not going to change it. She has identified or started to do things for her own.
Well, what we do know and what we need to keep reminding ourselves is that what we are experiencing has been experienced before.
Yeah.
And through that, there's a lot of things that we can learn from. I agree. I don't think there's a way of stopping it. I think this is just a natural course of things that needs to happen and transpire.
I think we
But
need to bunker down. I think we need to start building cities inside of the earth.
it's time to start preparing ourselves for what's coming
Yeah.
rather than trying to think that we keep getting ourselves in front of it and preventing it from happening.
Yeah, that means in the Southwest, you got like there's gonna be no-go times a day. There's gonna be no-go times a day in arid regions, right? Like due to fucking the melting, and I'm not a scientist, dude. I haven't studied this. I'm just talking about common sense, what it feels like. Yeah? As a human, man, I don't fuck your degree. Okay? This is what I feel, what I think. If it's wrong, okay, fuck you still. You who know the answers, go do something the fuck about it then, and don't spend your time fucking harassing me, leaving comments.
Right.
Fuck you, bitch. I don't care. Fuck you. This is a session. This isn't a fucking debate. Anyway, back to what it is that I feel. I feel like fucking we will need to burrow, for lack of a better term. And then during these no-go periods of time, that's when we will be able to be out, depending on what the fuck has gone down. If we're just talking about natural stuff, right? We go down, fucking burrow during the hottest times of the day, right? You go down a certain level, you get a consistent temperature in the 70s. It reduces our fucking use of AC, all that other stuff, right? Even in the wintertime, it's got a consistent fucking temperature, right?
Yep.
So if you want to feel the heat, take your ass upstairs for a couple hours. You want to feel the cold, take your ass upstairs for a couple hours. Don't fuck with how we're living in here. You want some air purifiers? Cool, right? But we need to be more mindful about our lighting systems, right? The less energy we could use, the less things that are relying to a grid, the better. The more rainwater harvesting cisterns and fucking purification centers and shit like that we have, desalinization centers that we have, the better. If we could even use the fucking water, right? I think Fukushima is actively looking to fucking start dumping their radioactive shit into the ocean, into the Pacific fucking Ocean, as if that weren't contaminated enough, okay? So a lot of the things it feels like we're doing to ourselves, like there's certain things out here that are like, nah, just fucking see what it does. And the rest of us who don't want to believe that this is being done on purpose are like, they want to do that shit. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter whether it's done on purpose or whether this was just some fucking series of unfortunate events that led to a catastrophic scenario. We're going to have to deal with it anyway, regardless, right? And if we're lucky enough at that point, if it was due to some nefarious shit, if we're lucky enough, we'll be able to identify a couple of those pricks after it does happen and watch them pay their recompense for what it is that they caused, that they brought about. If we're lucky, we'll have some fucking corporate type that we can tar and feather in the public square. If we're lucky, we'll get a Mitch McConnell type or some other just crooked ass, fucked off, evil politician and be able to tar and feather those fuckers in the public square, right? Go back through their records. Look at all their crooked ass email exchanges. Look at all their crooked ass text messages. Listen to their fucking crooked ass fucking meetings that they had, right? Every room in Congress that you have except for a skiff, that's public record, bitch. It should be fucking, you should be recorded. In those offices and shit, you should be recorded. After your term of service, that should go into your fucking portion of the library. of the Library of Congress, all those records, so that we could see exactly what it is that you talk about with those lobbyists, so that we can hear exactly how you sold the American people out, and thereby the people of the world, you dirty bastards. But, right, the military industrial complex being what it is, the pharmaceutical industrial complex being what it is, all things being equal, going back to, fuck, this is a big shit sandwich. We all got to take a bite in order to try to digest the motherfucker and move on to something else, preferably fruit.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? I mean, you got Russia over here talking about how if Ukraine is successful with their offensive to take back the land that they lost in the Donbass and the fucking in Crimea, they're talking about using nukes. How they're thoroughly justified at that point to start setting off nuclear warheads. Pussy motherfuckers. You know who fights like that? People with big fucking mouths and not a lot to back it up. They started some shit when they invaded Ukraine, regardless of what the fuck you think about that conflict. Russia started some shit when they invaded another country, and they felt that they could get away with it because they saw the United States and how we just went into Iraq, did whatever the fuck we wanted to do for like 20 years, and other places, right? Totally circumvented the United Nations process, the fucking, all of it, the Security Council, all that shit. Forced everybody to just go along with whatever the fuck we were doing. And so Russia now feels like they could do the same thing. The only thing is, like, these motherfuckers show up with their hammer and just start blah, 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 blah. There's really no precision. There's no real fucking strategy other than smash. Smash. Make them bend knee. Smash. There's some caveman shit that we're watching. And now they're fucking feeling some kind of way because they're getting shown up on the world stage for being a bunch of bullies, a bunch of punk motherfuckers who really ain't got nothing. They have to fucking force their own people to go into the meat grinder. And now that they're getting their ass beat by this unassuming country that they thought they could just go and fuck up and nobody could say anything, yet alone start making attacks in their country.
Right.
They got the balls to start talking about how the Ukrainian attacks in Moscow and stuff are terrorism. After they've been fucking sending artillery and landmines and troops and all kinds of shit into another country for years now.
It's called a counterattack at that point.
It really is. Hey, dude, what did you do? It's almost like you fucking started a war. Fuck were you thinking? On your own border, jackass. How about that, you fucking idiot? Good going. Way to be. But now that they're fucking being shown up, as most bullies are, most bullies who are going around there picking on people, fucking stomping on people, whatever the fuck, they're only cool for as long as they're not. And all it takes is for one motherfucker to say, you know what, man, stop.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck who you think you are. I don't care who you got with you. I don't even give a fuck what you say you're going to do to me. You're mean. I don't like the way you treat me. I'm not gonna fucking stand for it anymore, man. What's up? You're right. You're probably gonna beat my ass. What's up? I'm gonna get at least one or good shots on you, you fucking punk. And usually by the time that bully fucking like is confronted with that they've never been confronted with in the first place, by the time they get hit in the nose, they're full on ready for retreat. But now like their ego can't handle it. Because all the people that they fucking built up around them, that they had punked into fucking respecting them, fearing them, whatever them, are looking at these people who just stood up and said no, who where before they didn't think anything about, but now that they stood up and say stop. No, that's not okay. You're not going to do it here. The other people around that bully are looking like, hey, man, yeah, you know what? He is right. What the fuck is wrong with you? You are mean. Like, you are violent. Why? Motherfucker, what's wrong with you? Like, you are corrupt. What are you doing manipulating shit like this? Why are you gaslighting everybody? Maybe you should just go sit the fuck down alone for a little while and contemplate what it is that you've been doing, asshole. While the rest of us just live life. That's what we want to do. We just want to fucking exist. We'll go to the garden, play with butterflies and shit, watch stuff grow from the ground. Leave them the fuck alone. Who are you people? You government officials, you leaders, right? Who the fuck are you people? You act like you don't have a family of your own to come home to. These motherfuckers act like they don't have to go into our fucking neighborhoods. Like they don't have to go and shop at a lot of the same stores we go to. Yeah, we're a separated society, but you still have access to these cunts. Rodeo Drive and all this other fucking shit. They're right in front of you. They don't think they gotta mingle with us? The people that they fucking can treat however and walk on, man, that's bullshit. It's bullshit.
It is.
It doesn't matter if it's coming from Russia, the United States, Israel, Iran, England. It doesn't fucking matter. Let's stop. If you are in a leadership position and you're not trying to do the best for your people and create a peaceful situation, a thriving environment where they can prosper and just exist in a peaceful state, if you're constantly looking for a one up on your political opponent and using your military indiscriminately, dangerously, either because you never served in the military yourself, so you don't know what that actually means. You've been fortunate enough to be making these decisions from office rooms with AC and fancy maps and charts and fucking people to kiss your ass and bring you coffee for however long. You've never had to smell death for yourself. You've never had to risk your life for your own bullshit. It hits different. I'm here to
Sure
say
does.
my own experience changed my mind on a lot of things.
Yep.
I mean, fuck, dude, how many natural disasters have happened in your neck of the woods within the last 12 months, dude?
Too many to count.
You literally had ash from that fucking Palestine fire coming down on you guys.
Yeah. I'm within 20, I'm like 15 miles away from that accident scene. So they found ash 25 miles out, 30 miles out from it.
And to be clear, like, what is that ash?
The ash was, they said vinyl chlorine was lit on fire and some other chemical that was there. And what they did was they control detonated it so that it wouldn't blow up on its own.
So you
Because
legit had an NBC incident that is now you got a 25-mile contamination zone
yes,
that you're still actively living in.
I'm actually living it. Yes, that
Hey,
that
man,
our government refused to call a state of emergency for.
we all have PFAS in our water. Forever chemical.
Yep.
If you live by an airbase, an airport, or like this is no shit. Look it up. If you're listening to
Mhm.
this, like these guys are full shit. If you live by an airport or a military installation, an air base or something like that, you have forever chemicals in your water. They call them literally forever chemicals.
Yep.
PFAS. PFAS acronym, which means fuck off, or I know bad. It means bad. No, I live right by a major Air Force base and a major airport.
Yep.
A lot of people do.
A lot of people do.
And then we sit here and we fucking Susan G. Komen. Fuck you, man. Like, I like pink, like the color. I think pink is cool. I think it
Yep.
pops with a lot of different color combinations and whatever. And I like it because people think it's like a homo color and they think they could bully you if you like it. And so I'm never one to shy away from that encounter. And so it's like, yeah, man, what's up? I like pink, but I don't like the bullshit behind like breast cancer awareness or just cancer awareness in general. I think it's fucked off. I think it's another gimmick. I think it's a way for these jackasses to make themselves money and live in fancy neighborhoods where they make themselves feel different, better, healthier than the rest of us. That's what they mean, I feel, when it comes down to those programs. How can they isolate themselves from us, the dirty masses, right? Who are touched by this corrupted shit? All of us. But if we were looking into, right, the real shit that's been, I think we would have started coming up with answers a long time. As a matter of fact, I think our government has answers.
There's multiple stories out there, doctors that have found answers and then have been shut up about it or pushed aside about it or run out of the country over it.
Yeah, yeah.
Lost their license because of it.
Been killed because of it. I'm open to assuming that that's a possibility in the environment we're talking about. Um,
Yeah, I can see a lot of that.
well, I mean, dude, just just let's take a look at some of the things. Processed foods, we've been talking about that, right? Super processed foods
Yeah.
aren't good. They're not good for us. The
No.
pesticides that are used in these monocultures and just fucking agriculture in general, regardless of what these companies say who are patenting their product to sell to us, regardless of what they say, and regardless of what these politicians say, who have been given a fuck ton of money for their campaigns to support these people, right? When you start spraying your food with shit to kill other shit, regardless of whether or not you think it does anything to you, keep in mind you're spraying shit that you're going to eat later to kill something now. Make of that what you will. Fuckface. Okay?
And that's if you're actually eating it, right? So here's a piece of that that I don't think is talked about enough. And that's the multiple uses of the various products that we farm.
You talking about
So you spray, yeah, we could use anything. I mean, any type of produce. Corn is a great example because corn has so many uses, right? So if you're spraying corn down, the intention of that corn essentially is to be eaten, to be consumed. But what then happens if you take that corn and you start breaking that corn down into fuel? What does the chemical reaction then transpire? from what you sprayed on that to then the broken down process. It creates a whole different interaction.
I just thought while you were saying that, I just had a thought, and it was you said you're making something that's intended to be eaten. You're growing something that you want to be eaten. The bugs know that too.
Right.
The birds know that too. The wild things around there know that also. And I may be wrong. Like, I haven't studied agriculture. It's not my field of expertise. I guess no pun intended. But as we were coming about and evolving, we were doing so with the wild things around us. The birdies, the chipmunks, the squirrels, the bison, the deer, and all that cool stuff. The otters, the beavers, the fucking everything. Woodpeckers, right. All the cool shit. Yeah. Bear, like just all of it. Mountain lions, cougars. They all have access to your shit too. Because they got to survive also. And this provides them sustenance as well. And there was always a portion of the crop that was either going to fail because of the weather or fucking get taken back by nature as tax or whatever for the birdies and all the other beautiful things we mentioned. Yep. And like those insects go back for our soil. Those insects get eaten by the birds and the hummingbirds and all this other shit. It's a fucking cycle.
Yeah.
We have put ourselves, the human race, in a position where we think we are smarter than nature itself. And our ego won't allow us to just be in awe, to allow for wonder, the unknown, and to engage in teachable moments from nature, the other wild things that live in it with us. Yeah.
Right.
And then what it is that we are able as a community to identify that's either dangerous, needs to be respected, can be used for specific things, right? And then just like bountiful, useful, healing. That folklore, folk medicine shit that they talk about.
Yep.
And so, I mean, you could see it. You see it in our fucking food, our healthcare. Just, I mean, just the way that we get around. Our cars, we're stuck with this fossil fuel.
Right.
Fucking combustible engine mainstay. Because it's a boon to certain industrial types. Does it work? Yeah, fuck yeah. Are there other things that work better? Yup. Yeah. Do we want people en masse to have access to that shit? No. Why? Well, because you can't make money off it.
That's it.
At least
that's not the why way, we create.
Not the way they want to, which is to monopolize patents, monopolize knowledge, keep from the rest of the community. And when you look at the way they've been doing it, especially the pharmaceutical fuckers, they've been using public research institutions to do it. And it's enabled them to fucking find a gray area where they can fucking skirt through a lot of the fucking legalese in order to like really not pay for shit but own all of it.
Here's one for you I think about a lot because I think it truly operates in a very gray area in which we're talking about. And that would be animal sanctuaries.
Like wildlife preserves?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they truly are one of the only entities that operate in an extremely gray area in which we're talking about, right? Because there is a necessity for it, there's a need for it. Yet at the same time, the sole purpose of their existence puts and ensures that they maintain a position in society. And for us, we're doing it to ourselves, because the bigger our cities get, the smaller their living quarters get. And so we're taken from some to supply the many. And in turn, that's what creates that necessity. So for them, I mean, it's almost, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like counterintuitive almost into what it is that they do, because it's only prolonging the inevitable.
Well,
unless we learn from what it is that we're doing.
the thing is that much like, look, we could have had the conversation about cannabis in the 50s. We should have had the conversation about cannabis in the 50s. People think about the 50s, oh, my grandfather and stuff, rightfully so. Like human, like our brain, for us in this meat suit that we're actively wearing right now, 1950 was a long time ago. Spiritually speaking, and for the fucking world, it was not shit. It was right then. And we still can fucking correct a lot of the fuck ups that we did or allowed to happen back then. And I personally feel that one of the main things we have in our favor, a leg up, if you will, right, to our benefit, is that I don't believe they anticipated, they being the Anslingers of the world, they being the tricky Dick Richard Nixons of the world. Yeah, their ilk. Right. I don't believe they anticipated the internet, the World Wide Web, the ability to store, catalog, disseminate information, records, and other things at the blink of an eye. Things that they hid in the halls of their storage facilities they should have fucking just burned them, put in the incinerator right away if that's what they wanted. Don't keep files of shit that you don't want brought back. Period. Then the only thing you got to worry about is your personal recall. And we see back in the fucking 60s and 70s what that means for certain high-level executives in various agencies. You get found at the bottom of lagoons and shit wearing weighted belts with your hands tied behind your back and shit. Oops. Fucking oops. You fucked up. You know too much. You got to go to sleep for now. It's not you, it's us. So moving on then, right? We have access to shit through FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act. We have access through, I mean, let's just reel this in to something a bit more manageable that we know a lot more about, the cannabis movement. Look at how long that each of us individually had our own experience before we come out with our experience publicly.
Yes.
Fair statement, yeah?
Yes.
So I knew what I knew when I knew it. And I didn't know what I didn't know at that point. Couldn't. Either because I like sometimes the information was there, just didn't want to look at it. Like I wasn't a big reader of High Times magazine. I wasn't. Doug or whatever else, Dope Man, whatever else is coming out. I'm not. Still to this day, like I'll read articles that are relevant to the work that I'm doing on various platforms to see how the message is being portrayed and disseminated. Who's saying what? Is it factual? Does it vibe with what it is that I know from the work that I'm doing in the areas that I'm doing it? And does it mesh with what I'm hearing from the people I'm speaking with? If it does, cool. If not, is this a track record with that particular platform, right? Are they onto some other shit? So at the moment before I came out about cannabis use, I knew that it helped me sleep. I knew that it helped me stay on campus because I was doing schoolwork and various volunteer shit, right? I knew that it helped me kick the drugs that I was getting from the VA. I didn't know fuck all about anything about science for it, research on it. I had heard the glaucoma bit in fucking Rush Hour and other movies. I'd grown up watching Cheech and Chong. Love Cheech and Chong. Fucking Dave's Not Here, man. Like, that's the shit I grew up on. My dad, old school stoner, both of them. My stepdad and my biological father. Yeah. All my uncles. So it was a family thing. Yeah. And because of the nature of it, it certainly wasn't anything to be bragged about, talked about at school, talked about in other places, right? Back then, it's like you don't take pictures of the session. You don't. What are you doing? And you certainly go. You don't go. You don't leave the session and start talking about who was at the session, what we were talking about, what we were doing. Not if you want to come back. Not if you want to stay cool, motherfucker. And then, so that's what that was. Like, dude, you don't say shit. What are you talking about? Does it work? Cool. Shut the fuck up. Go back to work. What?
Right.
What do I need to hear about it for? And then that changed in 2013 for me, right? Before also, but for real in 2013, where it's like I started coming into contact with people who were looking to research this, started coming across groups, organizations, and individuals who were discussing this in a serious manner. Getting a whole new understanding of it, the history of it, science behind it, the laws behind it, precedent, state, federal, local, international.
Right.
These things take time to understand. I still don't understand 90% of that shit. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. So it takes a long time just to get a basic equilibrium. And so we're still finding information on a regular basis. And to bring it back to what it was that we were talking about with unanticipated information now being disseminated in the 21st century in the information age.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the fucking shit that we found when Alice was like, hey guys, by the way, University of Wisconsin in Madison has a bunch of records about arcades. 1975, 76, 77. What? After 8 years of working in this shit, not 7 years of working in it. What did you say? Oh yeah, we got a Clinton brief that we provided to that administration in 1993. Really? You know what I'm saying? You made it a book. Would you mind sharing it? There's no bullshit. We like fucking. That's how the green paper started.
Yep.
That's literally how the green paper come about. We put that information with the information that we had created for the veteran community on what we were experiencing, what we were seeing, and even that took years to compile. And even a prolonged period, like a year and a half, to really drill down, working with other veterans across the country. Once we had what it is that we thought we needed to get to that point, and when we did that, it just so happened that the information from Alice came about. It tied in perfectly, which tied in then to the United Nations December 2nd, 2020 decision, where they recognized the medical utility of cannabis internationally. And now we see the domino effect of that with Germany, Albania, and other places who are adjusting their laws to accommodate this new guidance from the international body. And you see still who's fighting it to the very last breath, right? The people who initiated it. Us, the United States. And a big reason of that is because we have a disconnected population, a misinformed citizenry, or what's worse, a willfully ignorant body. So the politicians can tell us whatever the fuck they want. And the shady 80 motherfuckers who are watching Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, or whatever the fuck propaganda network their fucking flavor is, and they're taking these fucking talking points from these elected officials and these talking heads at face value. They're not doing their due diligence. They're not looking into it themselves. They're not fucking scrutinizing what it is that they're being told, right? Thinking objectively about situations.
Right.
Looking into, God forbid, doing their own fucking research and asking questions. They're not. Nope. All right, man. Hey, fuck you guys over there. Why fucking this my guy over here said that to you, so fuck you. And you want to reciprocate? That's why. That's why now. Because now I have somebody to identify. You want to ask why? It's because you popped up and said why. And now I'm looking at you, and now I got a problem with you. I don't even know you. I don't even know your history. I don't know your politics. But I know that when my guy said something and then I said something, you fucking popped up and you said something back. So fuck you, motherfucker. That's why. Let's go. What do you want to do about it now? And now, facts, figures, science, data, journals, references, that don't mean shit. Now we're talking about base level caveman emotions. I'm going to smash your fucking skull because I feel some kind of way. And I got permission from this motherfucker up here on either team to go ahead and do it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm entitled to do it. The problem with motherfuckers like that, again, it's the bully syndrome. As soon as it starts to happen back, they're going to start crying. They're going to be the loudest fucking pussy motherfuckers on the fucking battlefield. Talking about, I didn't want to fight. Oh my God. Why is everybody doing this? I just wish they would stop. Oh my God. I can't get my Starbucks anymore. The information's there. We can avoid all that crazy shit. I hope we do. I don't want to experience that, bro.
I don't want to go through any of that.
Fuck no. What was your experience like being able to go to other countries and see what their existence was like? And then coming back home where it's like we have everything, but we don't feel like anything is worth a shit. What did you feel? Did you
my first reaction really was, what the hell's everybody complaining about? And it got to the point to where it was like, what right do you have to complain about something when you're not even going to do anything to try to fix it? And it was just a constant. It came from everywhere. It came from everyone. And that's kind of partly why I am as closed off and as quiet as the way I am, is because there's always something to think about. Like, sure, I got shit I want to complain about, but if I'm going to start complaining about it, it's because I've sat here, I've dwelled on it, I've really figured out what the hell that problem is, and then I've figured out a couple ways I'm trying to fix it. Whether or not it actually fixes it or not, that's a whole nother story. But at least I've come up with a couple ways trying to fix it. And then you start having to deal with the whole power complex. And who's better than who, and who's got the bigger shoes. It was like everything became a competition at that point, and it was so much easier for me to just be like, but my competition's with me. My competition, my better self. Like, if I can make myself better, I don't care what you got. If I'm happy with what I have and I can afford what I have, I can sit here calmly and not stress on what I have available to me or in my possession, then that's all that matters, really. All that energy then can be put to something else. And I have plenty of things to keep my energy going, especially raising a kid and being the stay-at-home parent right now. I mean, there's plenty of stuff for me to do. And then it becomes a matter of this whole absent parenting thing. And like leading by example, going out now. I couldn't imagine being as young as some of these kids are, walking around with phones and their friends, and there's no adult in sight. Or if there is an adult in sight, they're not saying anything or doing anything to exhibit appropriate behavior within the community. There's no, it seems like there's no more barriers between the time and place, the appropriate time and place to do various things. And so I personally had to make myself mindful of that and be that what I could be for my kid. So it's always, for me, I'm a lead by example type of person. I let my kid be him, but he also is starting to get this understanding of appropriate time, appropriate place of when various things can happen. Because here's a great example of this is the bowling alley. So at the bowling alley that I work with at part-time, he's pretty much got free reign of the place.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if there's a ton of people in there and there's a league going on, you don't need the kid going around thinking that he's the boss of the facility, trying to fix scores for people and trying.
And you certainly don't need him being encouraged by people like Uncle Rico. That's right, little one. This is your shit.
So it's like, yes, you're right. This is the right place, but it's not the right time to be like that, because there are things that need to happen now, and things work and operate a specific way to get them in and out, and so that we can move on to other things. So it's just things like that that I just noticed and have utilized, because I'm an observer, very much so. Like, most of the things that I have developed for myself in my own living has been observed by others, by me observing others. So it was always like manners, for instance. I always liked, as a people watcher, I always liked the way people interacted when manners were given. you know, the sirs and the ma'ams or the thank yous or a door, simply holding a door open for somebody else. Like I liked the way that human interaction transpired. And so it was one of those things that I just picked up on my own. I wanted to feel that human interaction too, type of deal. So everything throughout my life has pretty much been like that since I was a kid, to where if I see something, I like something, I'm going to try and imitate something. That whole leading by example thing. I just didn't keep it closed into my internal family. I let my whole community teach me the things I wanted to know.
I feel like that's the way it's supposed to be, yeah?
Ideally.
There are examples all the way across the board if you want to. It's here. Like just go and look down the block at what that looks and feels like.
Yep.
And then if you want to, usually what separates the two is work.
It's like that.
Either personal work or like actual fucking, like I gotta study something, right? So that I can practice, so that I can get good at, so that I can do something that over here then would lead to a more productive, fulfilling, beneficial, like healthy, whatever that means to you, lifestyle, right? Compared to over here, which is like, I don't know, I just show up. Yeah? Yeah. And then we fuck around and we do shit. You want to go? He's like, no, man, I'm going to go read a book. I'm going to go to work.
You know that phrase, you know, parenting doesn't come with a book, or parenting should come with a book, is a phrase that I've heard many a times. And then I was watching something the other day, and the comeback was that there's about 2,000 or some books written about parenting that you can go and get at the library. So
I'll do you one better. Reading, first of all, story.
Okay.
You got a tribe, you got a village, you got a town, you got a neighborhood, you got a community. There's a storyteller within. Somewhere, there's somebody who knows how to make jokes, especially to lighten up the mood when it's needed. There's somebody who observes, right, and then retells for various reasons or whatever at different times for different purposes. Right? And then you have an evolution of that into writing story, writing narratives, writing down and sharing experiences, yeah?
Right.
And in those select experiences from vast fucking amounts of people all over the world, think of how many fucking stories there are, right? Not just in our country, from town to town, but from neighbor to neighbor, right? City to city,
right?
To state. And then you start bouncing borders. Wow. There's so much shit we haven't heard. There's so many people we don't know fuck all about yet. Legit.
Yep.
Right? And then you get into this new age, right? Film. Wow, you could see the story. It's there, right? Theater, acting, plays, same thing, right? These are people who, without a camera, you could see the story. We're putting it on for you, the audience. And then all of a sudden, the audience became us at home or us in the movie theater, yeah? But those how-to books, right? How does mommy become a better mommy and not a drug addict? Mommy fucking likes too many of those Shooters in her purse before soccer practice. Oops. Right. Women are some of the fastest demographics of fucking people suffering from substance abuse right now, and mental health issues and depression and shit like that, for a number of reasons. And it's not just their
Right.
identity being attacked on what the fuck a woman is or isn't. There's a lot more to the story, right? Family dynamics and community dynamics, political dynamics, who actually owns the right to our fucking bodies, whether you're a woman or a man, or you are making up your own mind about that actively for yourself.
Do you? That's how it should be.
Hi, my name is Ricardo.
Exactly.
Nice to meet you. I like gardening, I like landscaping, I like fucking kind of getting to know trade skills, so whatever. Really like cars, really like puppies. What are you about? Give a fuck. Like, that can't be you. That can't be the most interesting thing about you. What do you like to read? What kind of music the fuck? I'll bond over music any day with people. I don't give a fuck. Give me your weirdest, nobody ever likes my music shit playlist that you got. I'll listen to it. I promise I will. I'll find a tune that I'll like. I may not like the entire fucking selection, but I'll find something that I like, and we'll be able to talk about it. You into gardening? You into plants? You into animals? You into nature? You like art? What the fuck do you do? What are you about, motherfucker? It can't be just that. Stop with that shit. That's attention-seeking behavior. You can go fuck yourself with that. I don't give a fuck, man. It's what fucking with a lot of it, dude. I suffer from PTSD. There's a lot of victimhood mentality motherfuckers out like that are using that as a crutch. I have that shit diagnosed in my records also, man, but I do a lot of hard work to try to address that every fucking day. And I can't allow myself to use that as a fucking excuse for my fucked off behavior, dude. When I fuck up, I have to own it. I have to acknowledge it. I have to apologize for it if I hurt somebody for it. And then I have to take my happy ass to therapy so that I can talk about it with a head shrinker to try to figure out how to avoid it in the future. That's my obligation, my personal responsibility to myself, to my family, to my community, yeah? And then we get into the people that we work with. And then we get into the other motherfuckers that I just average, I see like on campus once in a while, or who I really don't know, but I open the door for at Circle K. Their life isn't my fucking business. Did you not just hear the breakdown that I fucking gave, right? I do that on a frequent basis every week. That's where my focus is at. That's where my building is. I'm working on my foundation because I have to. Fuck, dude. And so at that point, again, like that leading by example really is just like trying to, like you said, find the examples, identify the examples that aren't just rhetoric, that you see produce good results. If you're an auto mechanic and you're constantly just like, oh well, I don't know. I don't know, right? And you just start doing random adjustments and you just start doing random shit and you're just kind of, I don't know. Well, fuck, dude, maybe it would help if you stop doing what you're doing first. Sat down next to somebody who actually knows what the fuck they're doing, right? Maybe pay attention to them and their practices that are leading them to the desired results, because you're not getting anywhere, right? And if you keep doing what you're doing and you refuse assistance and you refuse accommodations that could change the results, because somebody's like, oh man, I see you struggling there and I would really like to help you out because you're making it really awkward for me because I'm just trying to fucking go about my day to day and you're like a dead fish flapping out of water over there like you don't fucking get it. But every now and then you get a little water fucking floating through your gills, so you think you're okay, but everybody else can see you're fucking flapping over there and you're about fucked. So either let us like kick you back into the water, yeah, or swoop you up and put you in a fucking tank so that you're not making our lives more stressful, doing stupid shit of your own free will just to get fucking attention, yeah, when you're being offered assistance in multiple areas. Fuck. And it's not all about this. You're not going to get fucking anywhere if you just pick this up and you ignore the rest of your fucking issues. You ignore you. This won't do any good. MDMA won't do you any good. Ketamine won't do you any good. Ibogaine, LSD, psilocybin, none of it. None of it, bro.
Zoloft, Paxil.
Ambien, amitriptyline, hydrocodone, oxycodones, Percocets.
Yep.
It will all just fucking make it worse. At the end of the day, it'll make it worse. Until you start to do the uncomfortable work. And you know it's working when you're like randomly crying by yourself. When you're doing these reflections and meditations, and it's like, well, I don't understand. Yeah, and then you go back to your therapist, and they're like,
and you get lost in that movie, and you're like, but that's me. And all of a sudden,
yeah,
you're crying and looking at you like, what?
You start crying at commercials and come back to your therapist like that, and they start massaging your theoretical shoulders and shit, your proverbial shoulders or whatever, and they're like, that's the work. You get in touch with those emotions. You feel those feelings. Go team, go. Rah, rah, rah. Ow! Yeah, you're going to feel like that. You're going to feel you're going to do the Ace Ventura scene where you just go into the fucking shower and you're like fucking like scrubbing and crying to yourself and fucking.
No, everybody's too busy playing the mask, man. Somebody stop me.
That's a great reference to. I love the movie, man. The dog, when the dog picks up the mask. When the dog doesn't want to leave the mask alone at the end of the movie, he fights the friend. Yeah, they both go because it's like, no, that made my life better. I fucking need that. Yeah. I love that the dog was aware of it. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. See you later, Dad. Fucking. It's true. It's true though. We do. When I sat down and I was forced, I volunteered for it, exposure therapy. I volunteered for the inpatient program that was 3.5 weeks, where with a group of other veterans, we did a deep dive into what made us fucked up individually. I did that. Like it was signing up for some fucking, like, I don't know, man, like ride at Disney, like some fucked off ride at Disney. Like, sure, that's 3.5 weeks in a fucking psych ward amongst friends. You know what I mean? Enter Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I got you.
But it was required. And I'm really glad that I did it early on. Early on in my transition back from combat. Getting tuned into the VA while I was still on active duty. Was it true that what I was fearful of happened in the military? That I couldn't keep my MOS or my security clearance or be trusted with pew-pews anymore? Yeah, fuck, ooh, right? I can't go out on mission anymore. I'm a liability now. Fuck, I knew it was gonna happen. And to a certain extent, like I understand. I really do. Can't be next to somebody wondering if they're gonna at any moment just flip the fuck out. And however that flip the fuck out looks. Is that gonna be a mass shooting? Is that gonna be a straight up execution? Is that going to be a suicide downrange? Is that going to be just a total breakdown where motherfucker goes catatonic? Either way, that's a fucking distraction from what it is that we're supposed to be doing downrange.
Yep.
I get it. Fuck, I had to go to the loony bin for a little bit. And even that's a derogatory term, right? It goes along with like dark humor, right? You gotta be able to laugh at this shit. If you can't fucking laugh, if you can't tap into that funny bone in that situation where you're heading into the psych ward, where everybody's in a fucking pharmaceutical daze, but at least you're looking over to your fucking bunkmate and you can crack a joke, either about doing something stupid in Fallujah, which fucking found you shot in the leg by an AK-47 after trying to clear a fucking room, which got you into this situation in the first place because you really liked the pills they were giving you at the fucking Warrior Transition Unit. True story. I actually had that back and forth with my bunkie in the psych ward, talking about how we ended up there, playing fucking poker with our fucking Xanax and shit, using our fucking hydrocodones and oxys and whatever the fuck else lollipops we can get our hands on to fucking play as poker chips. Nobody talks about that shit in the Warrior Transition Units. Nobody talks about the veterans that are falling asleep with their fentanyl lollipops in their mouth and their battle buddies got to come through and pull that shit out. It's ugly. It's nasty. It's uncomfortable. It deals with situations that hit way too close to home for a lot of American families.
Yeah.
For just a lot of people who are in positions of power. You're a human being. You're not Superman. Fuckface. I don't care how well you hold your composure in front of the cameras or when you know that motherfuckers are watching. I know, just as a human being, and what I've lived through and what I've seen other people live through, there are moments when you cry in the closet. I know you break down and grip the steering wheel on your way to work when you're frustrated and you can't show it to nobody. You got to replace your headrests. You got to replace your dashboards. You got to replace your fucking horn. You got to replace your whatever. You got to replace your cell phones. You got to replace your whatever, your laptops, your desktops, because you keep breaking them. You keep destroying shit. And then
you got a stack full of speeding tickets in the glove box,
or a warrant or two, or a record that's starting to build up for some domestic violence shit, for fucking DUI shit. I am on the list of stupid with respect to that. I gotta own it. I've made my share of really poor decisions, man. And I'm lucky that people didn't get hurt. I'm lucky it wasn't worse than it was. I'm lucky that I was able to use that time. I'm grateful, rather, that I was able to use that time productively to learn from my mistake, to feel it, to feel the punishment. No complaints. You got me, man. Fuck, oops. Not even an oops. Like, fuck, yeah, no, you got me. What do I have to do?
Right.
And then eat it. You gotta take it. Whatever they say.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, all right. Year and a half worth of probation. Okay. Fucking breathalyzer on your vehicle to make sure you're not doing something stupid. Okay. You gotta go spend a couple days in jail. Fuck, okay. And then afterwards, like, what did you learn? Like, again, dude, therapy's big. Therapy's huge. I'm gonna keep saying it. I wouldn't have been able to navigate what I've been through, and I don't project that I would make it very far in this day and age without having not just an official therapist, I think that this coffee hour shit, and that's really what we're doing. We just hit record on coffee hour.
Yeah.
I don't. This is invaluable. Linking up with a battle buddy, seeking out professional help, assistance when you need it, when you feel it, when you know it. You know it. Whether or not you want to own it or accept it or acknowledge it, you fucking know it.
Well, I think it's important to highlight, you know, it is important to have a therapist, right? I mean, I'm actively seeking and looking for one right now. But it's important to have the right one, just like it's important to have the right teacher. Like if you end up with a therapist and you guys just don't work well together, or there's just not a right vibe going on, that therapy is going to be fuck all. That's not therapy at all. That's just going to further isolate you from the system in which that you're seeking help from. So I think it's important that people start understanding this and recognize that not one size fits all. I mean, me personally, I've been through 7 of them already.
In how many years?
10, 7 therapists in 10 years. Well, shit, no, I can't even say 10 years. 7 therapists in 5 years.
Well, that's a significant cut. Why'd you cut it so? Why?
Because when I stopped seeing therapy, there's been this long break now. It's been shit 3 years, 4 years since I last saw a therapist. Since the last one laughed at me during a session.
Laughed at you?
Yeah, started laughing at what I was telling him.
What do you mean? Why? What were you saying? Were you telling him a joke?
No, I was talking about my feelings. And my feelings, I guess, came across funny to this individual when I was discussing my personal experience about my second deployment. And one of the incidences that I went through in the second deployment, he happened to be working on the other side and reviewed that specific incident while he was overseas. And I guess he found the way I felt about it and what he read on paper to be different, and my viewpoint of it was funny. And so I ended session and walked my happy ass down to my patient advocate and filed a nice complaint report as to being placed with an individual who had a personal connection to things that we were discussing. It shouldn't have gone any further once he acknowledged the fact that he had personal recognition of something. He should have excluded himself from that conversation, and we should have found me someone new. So that was the last time I'd seen. So 4 years now, probably, since I've seen a therapist.
Bro, we've been doing some sketchy shit in one of the last 4 years, bro. We like some hardcore mindfuck shit. Like the thought of you not being in therapy is kind of like, I've told you.
Yep.
When it's not being recorded, I've talked shit, top shit. I've busted your balls. And I mean it, dude.
But like you said too, it just goes to show when I lost therapy, I was lucky enough to find something like this.
Yeah, but this could also be
And
a crutch, though. And we've talked about that too. This work could be a crutch, dude. Like you get that Superman hero complex. And it's like, no, 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 no. It isn't all about you, dude. You're
yeah,
not the make or break component to any of this shit. We come up with cool fucking shots from time to time on the court.
well, I wasn't talking about the work. I was
No, no, no.
talking
I
about
am. I am. I fucking am.
right.
I am talking about it. I understand what you were talking about. I am
Okay.
talking about the danger of being in a situation where you're not in therapy and you're using the interactions between us and then the other people that we're coming in contact with, right, to make up for that. And it can't. It can't, right? And then you start, we've talked about burnout. We've talked about burnout a lot. And then feeling some kind of way after a period of time because you're giving it your all, you're putting all this time in, you're investing all this effort, and nobody's paying attention, nobody's doing like, and I'm not being like just, I'm in general, right? This plays out. We've seen it play out. People come into the movement hot and heavy. They're gonna change the world. Fucking, they're in a rush for everything. Come in, it's like a fucking pan flash fry, real hot, real bright, noticeable. And then when they realize that it has to be sustained, oh fuck. Not just it has to be sustained, but they are in a competitive environment. We are in a competitive environment.
Yeah.
There's people competing for the ears of the politicians for time with them to introduce their suggestions, their remedies, right? Their proposals, their ideas of how to address certain issues. You also have business interests who want certain things slowballed, want other things fast tracked that are going to benefit their bottom line, their brand, allow them to scale up, level up into the next phase of where they see themselves being,
Right.
which will then give them more ability on the field of play to leverage and maneuver however they want, make moves, how they see fit, at the expense of a lot of these really energetic people, a lot of these fucking flashbang fucking organizations that come in, leave you dazed and kind of fucking ringing in the ears, but eventually do fade away.
Right.
Right? Uh, there are individuals within each of those instances.
Yep.
And the stress that accumulates from the constant friction and posturing and leveraging and Machiavellian shit that's required to operate in that environment for any length of time,
Mm-hmm.
that'll break anybody
Yep.
at a given time. Some people last a decade, 2 decades, maybe even like a quarter century. Wow. But eventually they start staring off into space and forget that they're at the fucking podium to make an announcement about the National Defense Authorization Act. I'm looking at you, Mitch McConnell. I'm a veteran because I served 31 fucking days in the fucking Army Reserve or whatever it was. And then went immediately to fucking DC and got into politics. Fucking turtle. They're fucking out there. You see them, dude. I just don't want you to be one of them, bro. I don't want you to be on camera one of these days and just have one of those moments where it's like you stroke the fuck out in front of national audience. And it's like, oh no, somebody get him. Like, reel it in, motherfucker. Like, oh shit, this conference is over. Yeah. No more questions. But we didn't get in it. Sir, you were making your opening statement. Fuck.
Oops.
That's our leadership. That's our leadership. We got some geriatric fucks from a different Stone Age still making decisions as if this was the 19th or 20th century. They need to get the fuck on. They need to retire, go to the nursing home, hospice, I don't know what the fuck, something.
Yeah. Institutional memory needs wiped.
Man, they need a reboot. Yeah. But holy shit, I think yeah, man. We should probably just keep having these kinds of random ass sessions. I want to start dragging other people into it. Just this
Yeah.
I was thinking about all kinds of people that are relevant. Dude, one of the homies, Mike Quigley. Great fucking name, right? Mike Quigley. Yeah. He's the director for the Wilderness Society
Heck yeah.
here in Arizona. Really cool organization. He's really knowledgeable about what it is that you were talking about, that reference you put out about like the preserves and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Man, he worked. I'm not gonna give out his entire resume. Just suffice it to say, I think he'd be a really cool person to speak with about what he's done, just his life experience in general.
It would be cool. I mean, a lot of it, to tie it in, I was just reading the other day about how the Mojave Desert's on fire.
All of it.
And how the juju trees are getting burned down because it crossed through from California into Nevada now.
Juju or Joshua trees?
Or the Joshua trees.
It's like, I know bad juju. That's like, you gotta stay with it. Sounds like bad juju.
Yeah. But I guess it's wiping out all the Joshua trees and shit. And then they started talking about how wildlife was even making it harder to battle the wildfire, because now they're starting to pop up. All the turtles and stuff are starting to pop up, and it's like, holy cow.
It should hurt our hearts. It should wreck us. Looking at what it is the wild animals are suffering through right now in the ocean, on land, in the sky, and how much of it is our fault that we need to take immediate ownership of and address what it is that we're doing yesterday.
Right. Totally agree.
Over here, our saguaros are dying. The great sentinel bird, Sonoran, is falling by the wayside.
Man.
Edward Abbey said, "Oh desert, yours is the only death I cannot bear," or something to that effect. Right? Throw a brick through your greenhouse.
Wow.
He was on some other shit. I got mad respect for it. We need to stop allowing people to steal and rape from Mother Earth. That's what corporations are doing. They are raping our earth
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit of benefit that the masses never realize, but are living with and forced to deal with the consequences. Not just the masses of fucking people who have the power of thought and willpower and the ability to act on their instincts and thought decisions. The truly innocent things, the little people, right? Not midgets or, whatever the term is, right? Children, little people, children, and then animals.
Mm-hmm.
Animals are truly innocent. And then, fuck, dude, like you look at coral reefs, trees even communicate. You look at the fungal networks and stuff among root systems, and they communicate with one another.
There's video that you can watch of time lapse and how the earth itself breathes and moves.
We need to chill the fuck out.
And then plants, you've seen those time lapse videos of plants and how they fight and battle for space and whatnot. And
Well, hey, remember Ghostbusters?
yeah.
Yeah? You remember the ooze? Where if they played music and still like happy music, like I think Your Love Keeps Getting Me Stronger is the song that higher, lifted me higher. Higher. Yeah, Jackie Wilson or something. Anyway, it got happy. The ooze got happy with that shit, and they were able to do cool stuff. But when they got aggressive with it, when they got angry with it, right? It turned into like this scary thing. You remember that?
Yep.
And it started to permeate into the people too. Remember when Dan Aykroyd's character was covered in it, and he went all crazy and shit until they fucking hosed him off?
Yep.
Our water, dude, if you look at our water and you look at the different ways that it can crystallize and form and then fucking harden and do all kinds of shit under microscopes or whatever the fuck, I believe they've done tests where they put like negative energy into crystallizing structures.
Yep.
And then positive energy, like Beethoven music and that kind of shit, into crystallizing formations, and you could see shit. I think the molecular patterns are different, all kinds of different shit. We don't even know where we're at as humans. We don't even know where we're at.
But we do know we're made up of 96% water, 98% water.
So what does that mean for us then? Oh no. Now we're starting to talk like the censor people from the 90s who wanted to put parental advisory labels all over everything, and the people who were talking about maybe the types of video games we're allowing our kids to just wrap themselves up with, or that are super hyper violent. And how does that correlate to just the ease of which they're willing to shoot whatever, whenever, however, and then all the other crazy shit in our movies and our TV programs, and then now just the way our politicians talk to each other,
or the way the news talks
incessantly, 24/7. You don't need to go looking for fucking bad news or negative energy. You just turn on your local fucking news network and it's right there in your face, dude.
Yep.
But meanwhile,
for the people that don't have it 24/7, it's guaranteed to be there at least 3 times a day.
The same story, repeated differently across fucking networks.
Yep.
Meanwhile, nobody has the intestinal fortitude to approach their neighbor and say hello these days. It takes a monumental act of courage to ask your neighbor if they want to hang out on the front porch and barbecue a bit. smoke about it for
Right.
a while. Hey man, how are you? Who are you? What do you do for a living? What do you do for fun? Right? How'd you end up in the neighborhood? How long you live here? Has it changed much? What do you think of it? Do you want to stay here?
Right.
If so, what would you like to see? Like more community gardens, more community art, more fucking like lending libraries where you just go and you post up and you have a free book space where people can come and swap or whatever. That's all cool, right? What are you afraid of happening? We should probably talk about that too. So I want
Right.
to validate you and your concerns or fears and maybe empathize with some of them that I may have as well, or start to talk about areas where we may not see it the same with respect to either the threat or the potential, right? Or the result of indifference.
Right.
Neighbors used to get into all kinds of crazy shit. Think of everything that you could fucking talk about online, on social media, and then go back and think of a movie like The Burbs with Tom Hanks. That shit was actually happening in front yards. People used
Right.
to see their neighbor with their fucking hood up and then just wander on over. Imagine, yeah, cross the threshold of their property. Oh my God, as their neighbor to go and engage another, like, holy shit, now it's a, hey, what are you doing?
Or people that still live in hollers that still share community phone lines.
That's a big one, dude. That's a big one, dude. Especially all up and down where you're at in Appalachia and stuff like that, dude. That's a big one. Talk about tight knit communities, dude. At the end of the world, I guarantee you one thing: those aren't the places you'll want to be.
Mm-mm.
Or anybody that's not from there, I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that they know each other.
They know each other. Yep.
They know the next town over. That whole
They
area,
know when their
dude,
neighbors go to the next town over.
that's a whole. That's like the Great Wall of Appalachia. Be very, very careful. You might just want to take the ocean around, right?
Yeah.
They got that redneck navy, so watch the fuck out. You could go around into Canada, but at that point, I don't know how friendly the Canucks are going to be, and they're really protective of their maple syrup. So,
And don't make a wrong turn because you'll end up going down Niagara Falls, and then it's just
might actually turn out into your favor. Fuck it all, right? Just going right back to our other conversation. I don't know. I'm floating, okay? Leave me alone. No. I do feel like a lot of even the political shit. I'm interested in if you've ever had this experience or not, but the political shit. Let's take like the most like the diehard Trump motherfucker got a flag up on their fucking property, really wants it known, right? And then maybe somebody like on the left or whatever the fuck, right? Blah blah blah. What do you think the odds of these motherfuckers truly having the follow through, the commitment of their hate and disdain for somebody else's symbol to affect how they're going to interact with somebody that they need to share space with who lives not just fucking feet from their front door?
will go even better than that because of the stories I heard during COVID, where these same types of people then think about kids that have gone off to college and have developed their own mindset and then came home to mom and dad, and all of a sudden they can't go nowhere. They're stuck. They're stuck living under mom and dad's belief systems. They're stuck living and dealing with mom and dad's political stances and how things operate. But you've moved on and have your own life now. So you got your own belief systems, you got your own way of living. And all of a sudden now these viewpoints start clashing and hitting hard, but you can't go nowhere. So you can't even run from this energy that's going on and this constant battle and dilemma of two worlds colliding. And then what did that do if you made it out of it? Did it completely separate you and further isolate you from that part of your family? Or did it bridge that gap of communication to where you can believe what you believe and they can believe what they believe, and we just come together, and when we're together we are just here in the moment as a family, all of that extra bullshit pushed out of the way. And I think all of those transpired throughout all of this.
In some big ways, man. And can a fucking virus win the Nobel Peace Prize?
I don't know, but if we ever actually figure out who created it or something, could.
Oh shit! Oh wow! Oh man, mystery science theater. Fucking boo. And I understand, like, there's a lot of motherfuckers that died and got fucked up from that shit and all the mutations or whatever. But I mean, let's objectively now, with all of that being true, all of that negative, bad, devastating, sad, fucked off shit being true.
Mm-hmm.
COVID passports and the real fucking despicable way companies use this to leverage into profit, the real fucking just schemy, smelly way politicians are using this to lock down controls and stuff to further isolate people in the community they don't like or agree with, who are not willing to conform, just like they were with the cannabis motherfuckers and the hippies back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't want the shot, you're bad. You don't have your passport, can't shop here. But meanwhile, right, you get the fucking lawsuits still. I do a wedding thing and I don't want to fucking recognize a gay couple. Right to the Supreme Court. Wow, right? So this person over here has a right, I mean, according to all these people, to whatever the fuck, and then this, anyway, it's all fucked up. There's people who are duplicitous out there who are using this for all kinds of reasons. Right? But on the other side, a lot of people realized how short life is, can be. Like right now, oh no.
Yep.
Bye. There's no going back. There's no second chances. There's no I'm sorries. There's no can I fix it. Fuck. Okay. If you're fortunate even enough to get to okay. So people realizing this, then what am I fucking slaving myself out for? Week to week, day by day, hour to hour. And for who?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't like my boss. This big-headed motherfucker with their private parking space and their private meetings and their private country clubs and their I'm fancy this and fuck you that. Man, having all these elevated conversations that you wouldn't understand. It's policy. Like, man, no. Like, I could work from home. I could start my own business. I could work for me. I could learn how to do the different tax schemes or whatever to see what bracket I would fall into, and then I could start to go and hustle. Or I could strike and I could fucking demand what it is that I know I'm worth. And it certainly isn't $7 an hour. Not when the CEO's making millions of dollars a year. That's real shit. And I don't think people would have had the ability the inclination to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to sell myself out like that. My time is too precious. Thank you very much. And if you want me to sacrifice 40, 60, 80 plus hours a week, you're going to have to duly compensate me for the sacrifice that I'm making personally, for the sacrifice
Yep.
that my family's making for not having me there, for the sacrifice of my child coming up without. And now we have two parents working mostly, right? So, and then the kid is out there. Look at all the concern, all the parents about what their kids are being taught about now. They were actually, because they weren't working, because they weren't fucking distracted with the other shit, the homework that their kids bringing home now. They're like, wait a minute. What does that say?
Right.
What? No. Let's Google this shit now. Come on. And so you have a whole bunch of people now, parents that are all of a sudden where they weren't before. They got the time and they sure as fuck have the inclination to show up to the PTA meeting to ask the school board and the councils and all that. Hey, okay, cool. Yeah, budget. What about this shit? What
Yep.
is this? That's real shit, dude. You have people now looking at their infrastructure. You have people now having serious conversations about sustainability and sustainable living practices. Where does your food come from? What is your immune system? A lot of people just take that shit for granted. And all of a sudden, when it's
Yeah, they
compromised
do.
for everybody, it's like, whoa. All right, what do I need to do to fucking improve that? What, vitamin D? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Exercise? Tracking. Right? My diet? Okay. Right? What else? Meditation? Breathing? Okay. Yoga? Sweet. Right? Anything else? Boom.
Food as local as possible because of the pollen in it.
Ooh, shit. No, you fucking hippie. All of a sudden, people have more time to show up to political rallies. And whether I fucking disagree with the people who support Trump, I'm choosing, right? There's things that motherfucker, that crazy bastard says that I'm like, yeah, that. But not just because he says it.
Right.
Like a truth is a truth, regardless of who says it. Broken clocks wrong twice a day, or fucking right twice a day, whatever the fuck, wrong the rest of the day. Yep. Give his credit. He says something that needs to be looked into. Look into it. The other side too. But
yep.
Fucking the power of discernment needs to present itself more these days in debates and conversations and in critical thinking exercises. Wow.
That term "check yourself" starts applying more and more.
And then I immediately go to Ice Cube. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chickity check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's fucking, it's a powerful song. It's still relevant. And in a lot of ways, man, relevant to exactly what the fuck we're talking about. How cool is that? How cool is that? Yeah. Fuck you. Today was a good day, you know? Perspective and all.
Oh yeah.
Let me just focus on what I got in front of me here. Ice Cube is the gift that keeps on giving, man.
Yeah.
Hooray for hip hop.
I've been what came on the other day? Coolio came on the other day.
God bless the dead, man.
Gangster's Paradise specifically was the song that started playing. Yeah, I just had to turn it up a little bit, had the kid in the backseat. We just started jamming out to it. It was like the olden days.
Yeah. that song played so much when I was a kid that I was banned by my parents from playing it in the car whenever we were all in the car together. I could not play it. There were a couple other songs or whatever. It's just like, fuck, all right. Immediately, as soon as the chorus, no. No.
And now I have my pride moments too with my kid because he'll be sitting there playing on his game, and all of a sudden I'll hear him go, "They be trying to catch me riding dirty."
I had to explain that motherfucker. Praise some unfortunate soul who come up in the later generation, and I almost couldn't because it was just like I was just so dumbstruck. Like. I don't even know if I want to engage with you right now because just based off that response, you're probably not going to understand the good majority of the shit that's going to come from my mouth. Writing dirt? What do you mean writing dirty? Is that what are you trying to say? Is that are you making fun? No. So please stop. What do you mean by getting hemmed up? What do you? Oh my God! Just stop. Like fucking go back to preschool. Grab your dictionary. Come back. We can start. I guess my highest list of all the ways you're a fucking degenerate right now. You filthy animal, motherfucker! Like you hooligan. What the fuck, bro? Don't you get soccer fires to start or some shit? Fuck. So yeah, like I was saying, man, being refined and shit. Big L, rest in peace. What are you gonna do? That's how we were fucking raised, man. Nas, Biggie, Tupac, fucking, I mean, Spice One, KRS One, you got fucking Sugar Free, DJ Quick, Ice Cube, fucking Snoop Dogg, the Dog Pound.
Shit, I remember when LL Cool J was still rapping before he even got into TV and shit.
Bro, you fucking mama said knock you out. I'm going to the gym or I'm gonna start a street fight. Grab the boombox. Again, like E40's still around.
Yeah.
That whole fashizzle about that Snoop Dogg, that's E40, bro. And then from there, you cannot mention anything without fucking Too Short. Just the Bay Area, bro.
Right? Yeah, just the Bay Area in general.
Digital Underground, fucking all of them, bro. All of them. That's who influenced us. Those were our nannies. Yeah. SWV, fucking TLC, fucking all of it. Aaliyah, dude.
I found my little Snoop. Where's yours at? I got mine ET gardening.
I don't know if that's like we're gonna get in, but it's so true. That motherfucker looks like his dog's uncle, bro, or his granddad, or something, or his cousin, or something. Yo, we found Snoop in Cleveland.
Yeah,
it's a true story.
Swear it.
And he's doing awesome shit. Yeah, it's like fucking the hologram of Snoop in Cleveland, right. With Cleveland swagger and all the lingo and all the connections.
There's even video out there you can find that where he's mistaken as Snoop at a Cleveland I mean,
it's gonna be linked.
It is there,
which is gonna be linked. Whenever this long ass unplanned recording that we were just experimenting with stops. and it finally goes up on YouTube unedited. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to learn that too. Whoever's watching this shit needs
Next thing you know, we're gonna have 50. Next thing you know, we're gonna have 50 Cent over there hanging out with D. We're
nah,
gonna have
nah,
Snoop coming to Cleveland and hanging.
See, that's called delusions of grandeur. It's diagnosable. It's diagnosable, and it's usually a fucking symptom of something greater that's wrong with your noodle. You got some
Well, dude,
narcissistic.
we don't need to go into all of those.
No.
What's wrong with my noodle?
Well, mine too, though. Like, so literally, it'd be like, what are the odds of like one of them turning on the special ed channel? Still listen to a couple degenerates just float random thoughts by one another while they're smoking weed. I mean,
hey, if I can play video games and record it on YouTube and make millions, I'm sure shit like that can happen.
Shit, now we're getting into like 8-year-olds and they're fucking. I don't even want to, like, I can't find a job, but we have millions of 8-year-olds. And now I just go and like, fuck this recording. Where's it?